Hi guys, it's Collin. This week we are making a new quilt block by Parker on the Porch. This is the Mason Jar Quilt Block. This is the 7x7 here, so I made this as our sample. And it doesn't have a ton of contrast in it, so yours at home may have a little bit more contrast. Jen's are always really cute, and she pairs fabric better than I do. So I made this to go along with a quilt block we made together a few weeks ago, the strawberry quilt block. And pardon my threads everywhere. There's just threads everywhere, right? So these are both kind of the 7x7. So this is the same size here. I'm going to piece them together, and I'm going to add a little sashing down here so that these are the same height. They are the same width. So my daughter loves strawberries. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that we have strawberry things everywhere. So my plan is to do kind of something like this. And then we'll have another jar of strawberries here. So, and my daughter likes, she loves a traditional red strawberry. She doesn't want a pink strawberry. She doesn't want an orange or blue strawberry. She likes a traditional red strawberry. So you'll see most of my strawberry things are in traditional colors and not very adventurous. But so for this video, we are going to make it again. We are going to use our 10x10 mighty hoop here. I'm going to make another 7x7 mason jar quilt block. So in my hoop, I have tearaway stabilizer. And my hoop may look a little different than yours. I embroider on a commercial embroidery machine. So this is a mighty hoop. I love these. You may or may not have this at home. No big deal. Even if your hoop looks different, the steps are going to be exactly the same. So once again, we have tearaway stabilizer. I have stitched our placement lines. So our first block is going to be this one right here. Now my sizes that I cut of my fabric, so I'm using quilty cotton. These are approximate sizes. So a lot of times I make these videos before the cut chart is available. So I kind of wing it on my sizing. Go ahead and use the cut chart in the PDF pattern. That's not available right now. So mine are some are a little small, some are a little big. You're going to see, we're just going to wing it with Collin, right? That's kind of the theme of my videos here. But the first piece is going to be this one right here, which I did measure, and then we're going to place it right here. So we want to make sure that we have enough seam allowance on all sides. So my piece is actually a little bit tight here, as you can see. I don't have a ton of seam allowance, but it's enough for me. I'm comfortable with that. I don't like to trim them in the hoop anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up right here. We're going to go to the machine. We're going to stitch it down, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the rest. We have tacked down our first piece here, which is this big piece in the center. So that's the contents of your jar. This is a Fat Quarter Friday, I believe. So Jen has lots of cute, fruit fabrics and different things. I had some other ones that were kind of similar. These are not the Fat Quarter Friday fabrics. These are just kind of examples of some other types of fabrics that might be cute for the mason jars. And this is kind of where I started with my brain. But you know what? My daughter, she loves a strawberry. And so I'm just sticking with what works here, and we're going to go strawberries or bust. So once you have your PDF file, it will come with a stitch map too. So I make these videos before those are out. So I don't have the stitch map to show you, but if you print it out or you look at it on your phone, you'll see the order in which the fabrics are placed. I'm just going to tell you first one, and then we do the red. We're going to do the red corners around. So for the red ones right here, so I have 2 squares. These are half square triangles. So I cut 2 squares. Now again, remember, I'm winging it, so mine are a little bit bigger than they need to be. You're going to want to use the file that you have with the cut chart, the sizes that are in there. And gosh, I'm having a hard time with words today. Just follow the directions in the tutorial. I am going to cut my triangles here from this square. So they're it's going to cut on a diagonal best I can in the middle. Now, there's a better way to do that, right? So if you're cutting really close and you have just enough fabric, you need to make sure you're cutting exactly in the right spot on the triangle. If you're like me and your squares are a little bit bigger than they need to be, then it's not as important that you get it exactly right. Try your best. So I'm going to cut this one here too. Oh, not very well. All right. So there we go. So I'm going to iron this one out a little bit because I got a plastic line in it. That happens, right? I'm kind of clumsy in the sewing room. So just go along with it. So we're going to go to the machine and we are going to place our triangles. So see how, here's my line, right? It's going to stitch on this white line right here. So I want to make sure I'm lining it up with that line, and then I'm shifting it down about 1/4 of an inch. I want 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So we're going to stitch here, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what to do. All right, so a couple things. First of all, you can see something went wrong here with my placement, or it shifted in the hoop before it stitched. Either way, it's not perfect. Normally we would want to have that same seam allowance underneath the whole thing. So my triangle got rotated basically, right? So I'm going to push it down and I'm going to see, does it make a big difference to me visually? So I accept a certain margin of error in my product. I don't expect, this is not an heirloom quality quilt block. Okay, so for me, this is okay. It's going to be secure enough. I'm going to just go with it. If you wanted it to be straighter or it didn't work with your pattern placement or your pattern direction, then go ahead and seam rip that and then you would do it again. I'm just going to leave it because for me, it's good enough. That will happen sometimes when I put the hoop in, sometimes the fabric moves and you just got to be careful that you're double checking those things. So we're going to go back and then we're going to put a piece of tape here and it's going to stitch this corner here. Then we're going to kind of move around and we're going to do each triangle the same way we did here. So we tacked this one down and I did this first stitch here, and then we're going to go ahead and flip it and stitch again just like we did here. So I'm going to show you these first two, and then they all follow the same pattern. We're going to go counterclockwise around the circle. All right, so this one next and this one next, and then we'll come back there. We've now tacked down our little jar kind of corners here. So this is what kind of makes the shape. It looks like kind of a rounded jar. So that sets it apart from the background. So I used a red because it's the same red that I used in my strawberries here. And again, some of these, this might look a little bit different with more contrast. I just don't sew with a ton of contrast. That's my personal style. You sew the way that you personally like. So we've done these 4 corners right here. And the next piece is our jar top. And this probably would have looked better with a slightly darker gray. I didn't have the right shade and I use what I have. So I did the best I could. This would also look cute with like a felt or maybe like a bit of a metallic. I think you could really have fun with that one. Maybe I could put some rickrack on that later or something. I mean, I can look and see what I've got, but just have fun with it. So our next step is going to be this right here, that jar top. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these down to 1/4 inch seam allowance because that is the seam allowance that I like to have. So you want at least 1/4 inch. I mean, you can get by with a scant 1/4 inch if you cut one a little too short. That happens to me. It's not a big deal as long as you're not really tugging on these things. I don't cut very well in the hoop, which is why I typically cut my fabrics a little smaller because I feel like I just butcher them when I try and cut things down in the hoop. They just like, look at that, looks crazy. I'm going to go ahead and trim all these right now because I'm standing right here and I have my scissors out. You don't have to. You can trim them as you go. I just, I think it's easier to do it all at once. So that's what I'm going to do. You do what works for you. So we're almost done here. We're just going to trim. And again, mine, they just always look terrible when I do this. All right. So see, they're uneven. Give that fabric a little haircut there. All right. And then let's trim this one last side over here. Okay. And the red will definitely stand out and behind white, right? If you're using a darker color on the outsides, it probably doesn't matter as much. Since I did my sashing in white, it does definitely matter. All right, so let me find, I've lost my gray piece. Oh, here it is. Okay. So again, I didn't have the cut chart. We're just winging it. I'm going to take my straight edge. Make sure you cut these on a straight edge, right? So we're going to line it up here so I can see that it needs to go there and that's where it's going to sew. I'm going to push it up so that it covers that fabric underneath it. So then when you look at the front, all you're going to see is the seam allowance of the gray fabric. You're not going to, and actually with the gray, you can't. It covers up the seam allowance down here anyway. With the white, it's more important. See how you can see the fabric underneath? So I try and get those as straight as I can. With the gray, it's not as important, but if you're using a light color up here, try and get it as straight as you can. We're going to go to the machine, stitch it down, flip, and stitch it down. So we stitched the gray, we flipped it over, same thing we did with the red, and then we stitch it down again. So our next is going to be this white sashing here. So I kind of have my white pieces. Some are a little bit longer because this is longer than this piece here, right? But that this is a little bit wider. So I'm basically going to do this, right? So I have my pieces cut. I have a straight edge on at least one edge. And then, but first, because this fabric is lighter, I'm going to trim this down so that I can cover it with my white. And you don't have to do that. This is an optional step. I just prefer the way it looks when I do. And so I do, even though I hate it, as we've already discussed, right? So I'm going to go ahead and trim this one while I'm right here too. And then, oops, yep, see. And then I'm going to trim this one also because I'm right here with my scissors. And then, so for our outer sashing pieces, we want to cut our pieces a little bit larger because we want a seam allowance here if you're going to piece them together. So just make sure you're accounting for that. If you're not using the cut chart and you're winging it, like I sometimes do, just make sure you're accounting for you want a little bit more than a 1/4 inch around here because we're going to trim it and then we will trim it to 1/4 inch so we can piece it together. Now, a 1/4 inch is my preference for piecing. Okay. If yours is a 1/2 inch, then make sure you have a 1/2 inch seam allowance for piecing on each side. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place our white fabric here the same way we place the other fabrics. And this strawberry fabric is one I got from a thrift store a long time ago. It's super old. It is not a high quality fabric. I just love it. My daughter loves it because she loves strawberries. And so I continue to use it and it frays and it's just not a high quality fabric. Okay. So what you're looking at here is not the file. It's just this fabric. It's really kind of weird. So here's where it's going to sew. I'm going to make sure I have a seam allowance here on both sides. And then I'm going to push it up so that it covers my fabric that I have below. And I'm going to try and get it as even as I can. So now I'm going to go back to the machine and it's going to stitch right here. And then we're going to flip and stitch it down. So I have done my first side piece here. Now I'm going to do my second side. So I've already trimmed here. So I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm going to kind of tilt it because that's just how my brain works. I'm going to line up, and you know what? This isn't a perfectly straight edge, which is weird because I could have sworn I cut it on a straight edge, but it looks like I didn't really. So maybe, be extra careful about that. I'm going to kind of line it up here, and then I'm going to push it up just a little bit to make sure my seam allowance fully covers the fabric underneath. Now that's because I like the way this looks when I only see that one white piece. So this white bar that you see here is my white fabric. It's not this red, it's not this gray, it's not this strawberry. The white fabric layered over will cover those other uneven seams. This is the way I like it. You don't have to do it this way. You don't have to like it this way. I'm just showing you how I like it. So if you also like it that way, then make sure you cover all your lower seams with your white fabric. So we're going to go back to the machine. We're going to stitch it down. I'm going to flip it over and it's going to stitch it down again. So now that we've done our sides, our top and bottom are next. Well, technically our bottom and our top because we're going to do the bottom first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim my seam allowances the same way I did before. Now we're only going to sew the bottom on first, but I'm going to trim both while I'm right here. I am not going to trim here on the sides because we'll trim that at the end. That is my personal preference. You could trim those now if you wanted to. I would not recommend it, but if you want to, go ahead. So I'm going to try and get this, relatively even. Now it's okay if this isn't pretty and straight down here because remember, I'm going to cover it up with my white fabric that I put on top of it. This is hard to do because this hoop is magnetic and so it like attaches the scissors to the hoop, right? So I'm trying to cut right here on the edge and then the hoop is trying to attract my scissors. So one of many reasons I don't enjoy cutting things in the hoop. But for here, we're going to do our bottom row first. So these pieces are longer. I have one straight edge and one kind of wild edge there. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to make sure I have plenty of seam allowance, right? These were kind of scraps I cut from, or fabric I cut from scraps. So we're going to stitch here and then we're going to flip and stitch again. All right, so we're almost done. This is a great file because it doesn't take long at all. So our last piece, we're going to do the same thing we did again. So I already trimmed up here for the most part. I'm actually going to go ahead and trim these down. Maybe I didn't trim up here. I think I said I was going to, and then I forgot. So that happens. No big deal. That's why I keep the little scissors right here. So I'm going to trim. Remember, I'm not going to trim the sides. I am just trimming the top and the bottom pieces for right now. And again, it's that one spot with this hoop that makes it really, really challenging. All right. So that's pretty good. You know what? I'm kind of a perfectionist. Trim this one more little thing here. Okay. Excuse me. So I'm going to line up my piece. That's my straight edge. I'm going to bump it up a little bit here. Now I have a ton of seam allowance here. Okay. If yours is closer, double check, make sure you have at least a 1/4 inch on both sides here. I try and have at least a 1/2 inch here at the final one so that I can cut it down to a 1/4 inch. Your mileage may vary. That's just how I do it. So here we go. We're going to do our last stitch, flip, stitch, and then we'll come back and take it out of the hoop. Our project is complete. So it's just the like larger version of this one, right? So what I do now, depending, on what you're going to do now is going to really vary based on what you're going to do with your quilt block. I'm going to piece my quilt block together with other quilt blocks. Because of that, I like to tear my stabilizer outside of the seam, but not inside of the seam allowance. So I want it to hold my piece together and keep it from shifting or stretching or anything like that. Now, if you're using quilting cotton, they don't stretch a whole lot, but they will warp if your grain isn't perfectly aligned. And I don't trouble myself with cutting my grain perfectly aligned. So, they can warp a little bit. Keeping the stabilizer inside and for the time being, it's very helpful to me. You may find it helpful as well. Maybe you won't, and that's okay too. What we're going to do now is we are going to cut down our piece here. So I want there to be 1/4 inch seam allowance because that is how I like to piece. If you like to piece with a 1/2 inch, then cut it down to 1/2 inch. So I'm going to use this line right here. I'm going to line it up with the outer border line of my project. And I'm just going to cut along this line here. And it wouldn't be a Collin video without a dull rotary cutter blade. So we're going to go with that. All right. So I'm going to line this up here and we're going to cut it. See if we can get it this time. Ooh, look at that. All right. So I'm going to cut it on every edge. That way, when I go to piece them together, my seam allowance is already going to be straight and ready to go. All right. One last one. I probably wouldn't need to record this whole thing because, once you've seen it once, you've seen it. But just in case. Oh. All right. So here we go. So here is my completed quilt block, right? So obviously I still need work to do to complete my project, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I don't know, I'll either put the sashing here or I'll put the sashing here. And I'm not sure which one I'll do. And maybe I'll alternate them because I think that would be pretty cute, right? So yeah, I don't know. So we'll figure something out. Somehow these, end up being, oh, well, maybe I won't really have to. Yeah, a little bit. So I'll add some sashing here, and it's hard to tell because it's not super wide. But my daughter, she loves the strawberries. We're going to do a pillow for her bedroom. She's going to love it. So this file is what we did today on video. This is the Parker on the Porch Mason Jar Quilt Block. We made the 7x7 size, and your pattern will come with a full tutorial with all the cut chart and the stitch map and all that good stuff that we didn't have here today. But feel free to ask any questions in the comments of the YouTube video or post them in the group, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to see what you make.